A lot of you are asking how to go full-time crypto, or even if you can work for me. I've just hired my first full-time employee to this new CTO Larsson setup, and I'll show you what it took to land that dream job. You might be shocked. Then, at the end of this video, I will come back and give you a very practical tip for how to get hired full-time in crypto with a killer salary. So don't miss out on that, watch to the end because I think you'll find it valuable. Now, let's play the sketch. I need help. All the crypto markets are booming and busting at the same time. Hey Elon, I need that Gen 2 droid and I need it now, man.
Probably have a prototype sometime next year.
1 year?
Batteries and
You kidding me?
actuators.
Are you okay? Can I help?
No, I don't think so. I need to hire someone with big brains. Not some pretty chick.
Why don't you try me?
Okay, I need someone with a master of finance. You see, crypto is disrupting the legacy finance system. I need someone who has studied at like Oxford and the top US universities who can move in that world. The theoretical money multiplier of the Keynesian consumption function breakdown which prompts the need for a more realistic model to explain bank and consumer behaviors. QE3 would likely outperform its predecessors because the Fed's strong commitment towards recovery would benefit market confidence. You wrote this? Mm-hmm. You wrote this in 2012?
Uh-huh.
Okay, very impressive. But I also need someone who knows the crypto industry.
I probably bought Bitcoin before you did. And Solana, I think has a lot of upside, even at 40 billion market cap.
Okay, but I also need a professional writer, top of the line. All right, but my employee also need to be an artist, like real art. NFTs are hot, and you can't do YouTube with mediocre thumbnails. But my network is in Americas, in Europe and in Asia. The candidate must have lived in all 3 continents to understand the business culture.
I have.
Then of course need to know the Larsson line process, so someone has taken the course and used it in action.
Honestly, I think the last 2 gold and blue flip was a bit lackluster.
Also, we're doing videos. That means work on site here. I mean, you're not from here.
Okay, I moved to Sweden.
All right, most impressive. But then there is one more thing, and I think you just don't have it. This is a tough industry. You need to be able to tell people to
You know what? You can off.
Hey, wait! You got the job!
But what do I get?
You get to work with me, CTO Larsson.
Thank you.
The last part was dramatized for effect. Ngop will have a good salary, but everything else was true. When you listen to the next section, please keep this in mind. At this level, there are no hacks. There's no write this in your CV or say this at the interview. No, that's at lower level jobs. At the top of the pyramid, you need to actually know stuff. And how to learn that stuff, that's what you need to figure out. So let's hear how Ngop did it. Alright Ngop, so on top of those 10 things from the intro, you also have taken a master's in fashion studies. How can you know so much?
I don't know. Yeah, thank you. That's very flattering. How do I know so much? Actually, I don't think I know that much, but for the thing that I do know, I'm naturally a very curious person from an early age. I like to read and I like to just learn more and get to the bottom of things. In university, I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to study at a liberal arts college in the US. So my major was in economics and finance, but by liberal arts education, that means that you get to take many classes outside of your major. And that means I got to do like art, philosophy, math and history and all kinds of different things. I guess that made me like very excited about everything and create that diversity in my skills as well as interdisciplinary and the way I try to approach everything.
So blockchain and crypto, I believe, is the next tech revolution that will bring as much society change as internet and telecom did. So what is your advice for people who want to get a full-time career in crypto like you just did?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what kind of role you... It's a very diverse industry. There are all kinds of roles like content creator, investor, trader, or developer in crypto. But I think in either role, you have to start out being very curious and try to stay on top of things, because even though it's a new industry, but it's constantly evolving. The only way to not be left behind is that to keep learning and talk to people and try to go out your network to really dig deep down into it, understand the technology behind it. If I were to give one tip, only one tip for all of you, subscribe to CTO Larsen. Thank you.
You got it. Now I will give you some solid advice. First, we need to understand this. In yesterday's world, you needed a lot of employees. When I worked in corporate, I had a lot of employees. Today, you don't really. You can work with partners and suppliers for almost everything. In the CTO Larsen setup, I haven't had any employees and still done a lot. And the employees you do need are at the top of the pyramid. That does not mean reporting lines like general manager or executive VP. Those terms have almost become irrelevant. No, I'm talking about the top of the competence pyramid. It doesn't matter how many suppliers you have if you don't know what good looks like. You need people who know the target outcome. Nope, that we saw here is extraordinary in diversity of skill, and that is hard to replicate unless it already came to you. If you look at history's greatest, like Leonardo da Vinci was a painter, an engineer, a scientist, a sculptor, an architect, that's incredibly rare. If you're not already there, I would actually advise against trying to replicate NOP here. So is it hopeless then? No, because there is another way to get to the top of the pyramid, and that is to be best at one thing. There is little value in being fairly good. It's crowded at average, but the market rewards mastery. You need a T-profile. Even in the new technical field, there's a lot of skills. You're learning some Solidity, some C++, Rust, Python, Plutus, consensus architectures, operational security, function tests, system verification, smart contract audit, social media marketing, Solana cluster synchronization. You study OVM, state channel interoperability, automated market makers for EVM-compatible DEXs. You do some technical analysis, some fundamental analysis of altcoins. You study global trend research in new trends that are driving the crypto industry. Commonwealth law in the UK offers some solution. You try to improve your technical writing, copywriting for Twitter. You study privacy protocols. And as time goes by, you get better at all those things that you spend time on. Maybe you start digging a little deeper into the consensus architectures, because you know all those L1 protocols, they're really fighting now. So which one is it that is the best architecture? And automated market makers, I mean, no one is missing the importance of the DEX protocols. And then your Twitter account isn't growing, so you're studying social media marketing. And there seem to be some regulation issues around yield in the US, and it seems like UK has some solutions to that. You decide to study more about the crypto Commonwealth law. And after 2, 3, 4, 5 years in a game, you're a solid performer, you know everything. But even then, that might not get you hired for that top job. If we go back a little in time and put all your efforts into improving automated market makers for EVM-compatible DEXs, and you became really great at that. then there are some other skills that you need to be successful at that. For example, maybe you need to up your OPSEC skills and your ability to order smart contracts. And with layer 2, maybe you need to understand more than just the basics about OVM and state channels. And then you take your AMM skills further and further and further until you're best in the world at that one thing. This is just one of thousands examples. Moralis is taking off now. There's going to be a huge need for system architects. Yesterday, a lot of people lost money because of OpenSea integration, and there are 100 projects now that are dying to integrate quite complicated smart contracts to OpenSea. Say that some new NFT company is hiring for smart contract integration. Are they going to hire this person, or are they going to hire this person? I think you know the answer. Rather be too specific. You can always generalize it later, but you just got to become the best at that one thing. Be the only one who can do it. So aim to become the best there ever was in that one thing. That also gets you to the top. Of course, it has to be something relevant to the crypto market, but I'm sure you can think of one thing. Then learn everything about that until there is no one ahead of you. It will take years. But you can do it if you have clarity or vision where you are going. And even when you are halfway on that journey, you will get hired with a killer salary in crypto full time. Before we watch the next segment, please welcome up to the channel in the comments. Please like this video and please subscribe if you found this useful. So what do you think about Sweden then?
Very nice.
You don't need to be polite because the audience is mostly not from Sweden.
I would say Sweden is very calm compared to Vietnam. I mean, every other places are very calm compared to Vietnam. And I really like the nature in Sweden. It's beautiful. As you can see, the lake that we walked by this morning.
But people are a little stiff, no?
Yeah, some of them are. But that's something interesting because I feel like the extremes in Sweden, like a lot of people are conformists. They tend to stay safe and work in 9-to-5 corporate job. But at the same time, I heard that Sweden has the most number of unicorn startup per capita. So that's something I'm still trying to reconcile, like that sort of conflict. I'm just very happy to be here and to be living and working here.
All right, enough chit chat. Let's get to work.